Have you ever walked into a room and felt like every single eye was on you? Or maybe you tripped in public and spent the rest of the day convinced that everyone was secretly laughing at you. This feeling, this strange illusion that you're constantly under a microscope, has a name. It's called the spotlight effect. Imagine a tiny, miniature world. In the middle of a bustling town square, a small character is walking. He feels dozens of eyes on him, tracking his every move. He nervously adjusts his clothes, runs a hand through his hair, and walks with stiff, unnatural steps, terrified of making a single mistake. He's sure he's the center of everyone's attention. But then, the camera pulls back, revealing the bigger picture. We see the truth. Nobody is actually looking at him. Everyone else in this tiny town is completely absorbed in their own little worlds, busy with their own tiny problems. One is talking on a phone, another is chasing a runaway hat, and a third is just staring into space. This is exactly what the spotlight effect does to us in real life. It tricks our brain into believing that a giant theatrical spotlight is shining down on us, illuminating all our flaws, our mistakes, and our most awkward moments for the whole world to see. But here's the secret. That spotlight isn't real. It's an illusion created by our own minds, a phantom light that wildly exaggerates how much other people notice us. The funny thing is, most people aren't watching you because they're too busy standing in their own imaginary spotlights. Just like you, they're worried about how they look, what they just said, and whether anyone noticed that weird thing they just did. In our miniature scene, imagine tiny little workers with clipboards and flashlights swarming around our main character. They seem to be inspecting his every move, analyzing his posture, and taking notes on his choice of shoes. It feels like an intense, high-stakes evaluation. But when we zoom out again, we see that their flashlights are just harmless little toys, and their clipboards are blank. It's all a show. Nobody is actually judging. Nobody is analyzing. And most importantly, nobody is remembering the tiny things you spend so much time worrying about. That embarrassing thing you said last week? Chances are, you're the only one who still remembers it. The spotlight effect tends to be strongest when we feel insecure, when we're trying something new, or when we're in a situation where we fear being embarrassed. Think of your first day at a new school or job, or giving a presentation in front of a crowd. In those moments, the feeling of being watched can be overwhelming. But the liberating truth is this: people think about you far, far less than you imagine. It's not because you're unimportant or that you don't matter. It's simply because their own minds are their busiest and most captivating theaters. They are the main character of their own story, preoccupied with their own thoughts, anxieties, and to-do lists. The moment you truly grasp this, the moment you realize that the jury you thought was watching you has packed up and gone home, something amazing happens. The imaginary spotlight flickers and fades away. You can finally take a deep breath. You can move more freely without that constant weight of being judged. You can live your life without feeling the pressure to perform or be perfect all the time. You start to understand that you don't need to hide your quirks. You don't need to apologize for being human. And you don't need to put on a show for an audience that was never really there. Because in the miniature world, just like in our real world, everyone is too focused on their own story to spend much time memorizing yours. So go ahead and be yourself. Trip, say something awkward, wear that bold outfit. The world is much less critical than your mind leads you to believe. Free yourself from the spotlight and start living for yourself. Thanks for watching, and if this helped, consider subscribing for more insights into how our minds work. See you next time.